Welcome back, everybody. We are talking to Senator Cory Booker. The president names you specifically and says you were trying to destroy the American dream by supporting affordable housing in the suburbs. You grew up in the suburbs. Can you speak to the sort of blatant racism behind this, both where he stands on the issue and why he keeps bringing your name into it?
Look, as one of my close friends said to me, the fact that the president brought you up multiple times in tweets and rallies should be a sign that you're actually doing something. But speaking to him is not what, frankly, if I can answer your question more by speaking to us as a country. We are this phenomenal nation with reservoirs of love and decency that are always there, but we don't always draw down upon them. And this is a president who has I think, been such poison to the spirit and the energy that's in our country. And I know of no other way to do that than to reject it, and not to reject it with just like more bile. I still remember in one of my town halls when I was running for president, a guy comes up to me and says, "Dude, I want you to punch Donald Trump in the face." And I look at him and I laugh and I said, "Dude, that's a felony. We cannot beat that energy by bringing more of that energy." That's what he wants. He wants us to get down and fight in the gutter in a way that none of us win. This is a time when we see his kind of racism and bigotry, we see his blatant fear-mongering, trying to prey upon the insecurities or latent strains of negativity in our society. We have to reject it and reject him. I don't care what your party is. Both parties, Republicans and Democrats, we're better than this. We should be calling people to the best of our angels, the highest of our aspirations, to the best of our virtues, and not what he does on a regular basis, which is demonstrate vile, dehumanizing, debasing behavior. It's just wrong. And God, I don't want to just win this election for some kind of partisan reason. I want this to be a national rejection of Trumpism, of all that he has brought into our public spaces. And I want us to see at the end of this election, not just one candidate being elevated, but all of us committing ourselves to having a revival in this country of civic grace.
You had some spirited moments with former Vice President Biden during the Democratic debates, but some amicable moments during the commercial breaks. Is that right?
Yeah, I have to say, I knew Joe Biden. He swore me into the job that I had, but I really got to know him in the way you do with, the rival kids you played with again in high school, for example. And I'm just a big believer that contests like that don't build character, they reveal it. And by the end of the campaign, I was thoroughly disarmed by him and admired him. And I remember a tough moment. He had said something that I found offensive. And I still remember I was on a major news network talking about it from my heart and speaking about why it was so hurtful to me. And then something that has never happened to me before in public life. I got off that station and I get a phone call from Joe Biden. And he doesn't call me, that's not one of these puffery political speak kind of calls. He called me with a sense of vulnerability and saying to me really that he doesn't always get it right, and that he is still learning and he is still growing, and he really wanted to understand. And Trump has this way of never being wrong, never apologizing. Biden has this way of saying, you know what, none of us are beyond sticking our foot in our mouth, making mistakes, but maybe if we own up to them, we can all learn together, all grow together and heal together. And so by the end of the campaign, I considered him a friend and someone that I admired, and now someone I very much want, especially at this time of where we need healing. I want him to be my president.
I asked your colleague, Senator Klobuchar, this on Monday. What are your plans for election night? Where are you going to watch it? How are you going to feel?
So my hope is just to be relaxed, sitting next to Rosario on a couch somewhere and eating junk food vegan and God willing watching an election that I hope we should all have the expectation that it won't be decided that night. But I have a lot of hope that night that there'll be a lot to celebrate. And also, the Senate. I mean, Mitch McConnell, who calls himself the Grim Reaper, I'm really hoping that from Iowa to Texas to South Carolina, that we win a lot of Senate seats that people didn't expect, surprise a lot of people, and give a further repudiation of Trumpism.
All right. All the best to you. Thank you so much for making time for us, Senator. Really appreciate it.
I just want to tell you something, because a lot of times people think of entertainment or art as entertainment. And I just want to let you know that during this time of Trump, you've just been one of those folks I think has given a master class in showing that satire is essential to a democracy. The ability not only to criticize power, but really call it into question in a way that stimulates people's understanding and action. Art is essential to a democracy, especially in a time of trial. And you've just done a wonderful job and have given me not only a lot of laughter, but even sustained and nurtured me and nourished me in a time that I really needed it. So
I'm
thanks for
so glad
just
you
being a
said
great
that
art.
in front of my crew, who do not respect me at all.